I'm really excited because today we are going to be talking quantum wealth, private podcasting, and the power of using this beautiful space that we all know that I preach. So I'm blue in the face. Podcasting really changes lives because your story changes life. So welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I'm really excited to dive in. So let's do it.
Welcome to the podcast about podcasting, where you guessed it, we're talking all things podcasting, but not just in the sense of strategy of how to launch, grow, and monetize your show. Of course, you're going to get that, but we're going deep into how podcasting can actually help you build your community, build your confidence, and if you're willing to lean deep into this platform, it can be the ticket to the life of your dreams, because it'll inspire you to go deeper, to get to know yourself. And as we know, success starts from within. If you are ready to stop being a ripple in this world and bust out your tsunami of change you know you were made for, it's podcasting for your soul. I'm your host, Jen Dragonette, so let's dig in. Welcome to the podcast, Joe.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I know that audio has impacted your life and your business. I want you to share a little bit about how audio has changed the game and why you think that it is important for business.
There's this magical aspect to audio. It's like mysticism in its finest. Because if you think about how did we originally tell stories, it was through oration. We used to just tell stories around the fire, right? And that's how history and culture was passed down. We didn't necessarily, because you had to write things on a tablet and chisel it out before we created papyrus, right? And then once we got to papyrus, and then paper and all this stuff, and now we have video. But the way of creating something visually was two options. You either chiseled it or you painted it or carved it into a cave or what have you. So audio is the OG in every aspect. You think about, there's sounds that you love. Maybe it's because your mom played that music when you were in utero or what have you. And the one thing that's calming to you as a baby is being comforted with words and sound. So it's people underestimate the impact of audio and sound so much. That's why I love working. I liked working in podcasts, but then once I really started to lean in, I was like, holy shit, this is the most powerful thing that I've done in a long time. Because when I started my healing practice, guess what one of the main modalities was? It was sound vibrational healing, which is super underrated, but like frequency is powerful, and that puts your body right into alignment. That will literally vibrate the bad shit up to the surface and out of your body. It's so great. And so I think it was like 3:00 in the morning a couple weeks ago. I'm like, that's what podcasting is. So it's this whole like epiphany. And I don't know why I always wake up between 3 and 5 a.m. and have these like really profound downloads and like thoughts like, ding, oh, yeah. So podcasting, you definitely introduced me to that world a couple of years ago, but I didn't really embrace it until this year and created my own. And now I'm like, oh, I love this. And it's been this big vision, and it's morphed and it's morphed. And now like it's introduced me to the world of private podcasting, which I didn't even know was a thing, but it's so much more rad than just doing like, I mean, don't get me wrong, podcasting is cool, but a private podcast, I was like, what? How feasible is that? You know, of course, the belief I did not have at first, right? And now I'm like, oh yeah, Jen's right. She's onto something. And so I created my private podcast from that. And then I started doing all that research and was like, this is profound. And I like the exclusivity of it because it's just for you. And it's this little, it's kind of like having that, what's that app? The Calm app. When you're going to sleep, you're meditating, but it's like instead of that calming or meditation, it's like for other cool shit in your private pocket, in your earbuds, you know, which I just think is pretty cool. So
it's
I'm just rambling.
Powerful.
Yeah.
I love it.
companies even use it for trainings for their employees, especially in the C-level employees like CEOs and whatnot. Or I just think that's it's just such a cool idea. I had no idea it would be so impactful.
Yes, it's very, and like I said, podcasting for me, it's like, you don't have to do all the other things. Like you said, the video and the audio, you know, like all the other stuff. You don't have to go out there and chisel. That's what I feel like when you said chisel. I'm like thinking social media. I'm like, I feel like you're over there and you're like chiseling out something and then you hold up your rock. Check out my rock. Check out my rock. And everyone's like, it's another freaking rock.
Yeah. Wait, is the lighting right? Oh, is the sound on? You know, oh my God. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I was in love with film for ages and ages, and I still have a love of it. But I went so far as to get trained, go to school, all that stuff, and then apprentice, and then actually have my own production company for 2 years. And I was like, this sucks major butt. I hate it. Because I hated the editing of video. I hated how long it took to set up the light. And the camera was so sensitive, you couldn't get dust on it. And you had to carry it in a special case. And your lens weighed like 50 pounds. And it was just drama, you know? And every person who had their spot, it was like herding cats 24/7 as a producer. But cats on crack, because they all have an ego and they need to be stroked, their coat. And you have to pet this one just so, and that one's purring and this one's screaming. And you're just like, oh my God. With audio and podcast, it's just you and there's no drama and it's whatever you want to say. So this eliminated so many headaches for me, but it also was like, whew, I'm learning a whole new language. I have to learn this software and this, and that's cool. Oh, wait, this is like that. Okay, I got it. So much easier.
But it's not that the software isn't as hard as you thought it was going to be.
No,
I'm like,
I was making it hard because I was like, I was probably asking questions that was like, somebody should have said, for what purpose and why? And I'm just like, because I want to learn. I'm like, you don't need to know all that. Just show me the greatest hits. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Pretty sure I asked those questions.
You did? That's right. Before we had the conversation, I was making it hard on myself, though. And you were like, why are you doing that? I'm like, because I thought I had to. You're like, no.
No. It's because the internet made you think you had to.
Right. Yeah. No, but yeah, the power of, for me, honestly, I see private podcasting being like my version of having evergreen programs that people can buy. But it's simple. It's no drama. It's no BS. And it's concise. It works. And it absolutely is something you take with you everywhere. It's like just another part of your day. And what I also think is super cool about it is that not everyone's doing it. This is how we're shifting. We're pivoting. Was that the word of, the pandemic was pivoting? Business. I see all these people were telling me to do business in such a way. And I'm like, it didn't feel in alignment. That's why it didn't work for me. Or I would try this or throw money at that shiny thing or do this or do that. And I was like, at one point, I'm like so overwhelmed. And I was just like, F it to everyone. Love y'all, mean it. But I have no fucking clue what I'm supposed to be doing anymore. What was it I was originally starting to do and wanted to do? And with podcasting, now I'm like, I don't need all that shit. I can just do the private podcasting for people who are willing to go in depth and pay. Like before they want to actually invest in working with me, they can get this. Or they can find me on Inside Timer and do the little one-offs, or I can have it for masterclasses or whatever. It's just, I had no idea that this was such a rad possibility. And it's really starting. I mean, I'm just at the beginning, but I can see how it's starting to change things for me.
Yeah. Private podcasts are awesome because you can do them for so many things. You can do them for your opt-ins. Like you said, you have a quantum wealth course.
Yeah.
And like you said, audio is so powerful. So as you know, we're having this conversation, story is powerful. Our words are powerful. Our voice is powerful.
Yeah.
And it's the way we communicate with, in the most part, for most people, we communicate with our voice. And it's to me, it's wild to think that most people listening are either 1, going for a walk, 2, doing a household chore, or 3, hello, my shower listeners.
Or driving.
Which is also me. Or driving.
Shout out to the drivers.
The drivers. But out of those 4 places, you're like, okay, well, they're still distracted, right? Because you're still doing something. But it's different than being on a video because there's not an extra distraction. You're also not on an app that's easier to side hustle, side scroll, side whatever you want to call it.
Well, do you know why
power? No.
So when you're distracted, like driving, or you have for lack of a better task, like a mundane task, like doing the dishes or showering, you're actually in a state of trance, which simply means you're in a state of suggestibility. You're open because your unconscious mind is like giving your body the motor skills of autopilot. That's what's happening. So when that happens, you're open to suggestion by whatever you're listening to. So if it's music, you're like, woo, I'm in a great mood, or I'm like, it's sappy song, so I'm like feeling it today. Or if you're listening to a podcast and it's educational and it makes you feel a certain way, or meditating or whatnot. But that's exactly why audio is so powerful, is oftentimes we remember what someone said. And it could be something really profound, or it could be something that's just like, what a turd. You know what I mean? Can't believe they said that. But you'll play it over and over and over in your mind because that's how it made you feel. And thought to feeling is what shifts our actions and our behaviors.
Yeah. And I'm excited you put your quantum wealth course on a private podcast. I want to know more about that.
Yeah. So I created that program because I saw a need. I saw some people are kind of like just starting their journey of quantum wealth or wealth. And then some people are already in their journey, but they've hit like a threshold or a plateau and they can't really get beyond that. And they don't know why. They're doing the stuff, right? The strategy, but they're just quite not there, or they have a bottleneck in their business, or they're self-sabotaging themselves in random ways, like kind of like how people do when they're wanting to work out. It's never about the diet. It's never about the working out. It's an emotional issue. You have to go back to the core, the start, right? So I created this program because I'm like, I took inventory of what worked for me. I grew up super, super poor. Like parents were on Social Security and were like checked out because they were on drugs. We had no running water or electricity. We lived in the boonies, not because it was the cool thing to do, because we were just poor. So I didn't grow up around wealth, but I knew there had to be a better way. And so to go from that to quantum leaping to living a very comfortable life, having nice clothing in a luxury car and doing all of the things that I want, for some people that might not seem like a big deal, but that was a huge quantum leap that I had to take in time, right? And I did it pretty quickly. And I've maintained that, but now I'm like, oh yeah, how did I get there? I took inventory of all the steps and I put them in a really easy, tangible, digestible program. And it's about aligning 3, 4, and 5D together, your mind, body, spirit. Because when we talk about raising your vibration, we're not talking about meditating till you levitate, which I've seen happen. It's pretty cool, but no, that's like a totally different situation. What we're talking about is going back and shifting your belief system and clearing out all the traumas and the junk and focusing on how you feel. And shifting those two together creates a quantum click and shift so that you can leap into your next level. But some people overcomplicate it, or they don't realize that they're only addressing one aspect, one dimension. You can't focus on 3D and expect 4 and 5D to change. You have to address them all at the same time. But we can do it sequentially. And so this really addresses the fact that money isn't really about money. It's about getting your emotions and your mental state cleared, healed, so that you can allow and be in a state of flow, and that wealth will come like that. And we're not just talking financial wealth. It's absolute all wealth, but this works. I'm a product of this program. Others that I'm close to are a product of this program. And I've used it to bust through every plateau I've had financially. So
why did you choose to put it on a private podcast versus doing a traditional course?
Because no one else has done it that way. I haven't seen it that way yet. And I am very auditorily sensitive. I love listening to podcasts. I love listening to meditations. And if I find it that powerful, and then I look out and I see how popular podcasts are, then I'm like, this is absolutely a need and a niche. It just felt like the natural thing to do because I was not excited about putting together a video program because I have a love-hate relationship with video and editing and all that stuff. But with podcasts, it just flowed together. I don't know if that answered your question, but it just seemed very natural.
I love that. So I will put the information of how to get into your quantum money.
Quantum wealth.
Quantum wealth.
Yeah.
Be a lot of editing.
That's okay.
The Quantum Wealth program in the show notes. But I want to know, you also are a fellow podcaster. Where can people find you on this beautiful podcast app?
So they can find me on wherever they listen to podcasts, on Spotify, on Google, and on Apple. And it's Embodied Transformation with Johanna Bradford, ET, Come Back Home to Your Soul. That's my personal podcast, and that's the public one. And the private one, you'll pay for. But if you type in wealth code for a limited number flash sale, there will be a discount, and it's just wealth, all caps. So I hope you enjoy it and you come and see me because we can have fun and play together, raising your vibration and busting through your plateau.